Guy's got two LaCroix on his neck.
It's so hot in here. Rose, I don't know if you're watching this, but it's really hot. I just got to your house.
Need
And
some
Richard,
AC in there.
but Richard doesn't watch or listen. Maybe sometimes.
That's all right. Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Napoleon.
Okay. Super duper fun. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
All right. One, two, three, click. One, two, three, clap.
Clap. One, two, three, clap.
Clap.
Oh, great.
How's the delay?
Great.
Sweet. That's good. We're
Okay.
closer than normal.
Yeah, that's right. We're both on in the same time zone. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, here we go. In 1804, a diminutive in 1804, a diminutive 35-year-old crowned himself Emperor of France in Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Having ended the French Revolution, the military commander turned monarch lost and regained control of the country several times, won 80% of the battles he fought, was exiled to various islands, and faced several heavy hitters like Alexander, Emperor of Russia, and Francis, Emperor of Austria. He also sold the U.S. 20% of its current territory for just under $500 million. His final battle his final battle ended in failure. On June 18th, 1815, he was defeated by the armies of the United Kingdom and Prussia. That same week, 189 years later, a movie was released into theaters with its titular character sharing the emperor's name. But that's about all they shared. The protagonist of the 2004 film had none of the emperor's ambition, clout, flair, or stature. The star of the movie was, in fact, very tall. There's one thing they had in common, however. Both were absolute, out and out, incontrovertible weirdos. We're the two Gomers. We're talking Napoleon Dynamite, and this is Perfect Movie.
Welcome everybody to Perfect Movie, a podcast where two regular guys try to wait, a podcast where two regular guys try to save the universe, one great film at a time. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Sun River, Oregon, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Sharing a time zone.
Yeah, dude.
Very, very rare for us.
Totally. Super pumped about that.
People might notice that you sound a bit different. You're using a different mic, but your travel mic.
Yep, I've got the travel mic. You know what, dude?
What?
Hold on. Am I really quiet? Check,
Yeah.
check, check. Okay,
Well,
check.
okay.
Check,
Now
check,
you've gotten louder. Are you clipping?
check. Yeah, now I'm clipping. Sorry, here. We might need to start over. Check, check. I didn't
Okay,
realize it was super low.
that's fine.
Check, 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 check. I think. Ha 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 ha. Check, check. Is that clipping?
No,
Ha
sounds
ha.
good.
All right, let's start from the top.
Okay,
My top. Sorry.
great.
Welcome, everybody, to Perfect Movie, a podcast where two regular guys try to save the universe, one great film at a time. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Sun River, Oregon, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
A travel record.
Yeah, dude, we're in the same time zone.
Same time zone. We're both in the West. I mean, we're still like
Yes.
probably 1,500 miles away from each
Is
other.
that, oh, yeah, you drove from here last year to your house.
Something like that. But that's better than 3,000, which we usually are.
Yep. This is way closer. I mean, so that means I'm basically straight up because
Yeah.
we're on the same time zone. That's
Y-
nice.
you're wester than me. I don't know if that's the way to say it. But
Yep.
because Arizona's so we don't follow rules, I'm currently on the Pacific uh time zone. I won't be next in a couple months, but
Right.
when I drove down, it did feel like I was driving basically straight south. I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but most of the time I'm just going straight south. Sun's rising on my, what would it be? Sun's
You're
rising on my right, and
Oh,
setting
right.
on my on my left, I should say. Um, yeah, it was. I don't actually know if that's right, but I was going a direction where the sun was rising on one side of me and setting on the other.
Yeah, well, it would have been rising on your left,
Okay,
setting on your right.
that's right.
I'm just
Yep, you're right.
I just put you into my Google Maps.
Uh-huh.
Actually, Apple Maps, sorry. Yeah, you're 16 and a half hours away. Jeez.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a big country, dude.
That's right. And especially the
America.
West. The
Right.
West is just massive. Um,
Yeah,
so,
wow.
but we're both but you are traveling, you have important things to do, but we had to record our Napoleon Dynamite episode.
Yeah,
Very important.
some things just take precedence
Right,
over all
exactly.
things. We've been talking about this movie forever.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm super pumped to talk about it. Um, it's a fun one, dude.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk about it in a while. Me and you,
Right.
like in a serious kind of critical way.
Um, is it the same year as National Treasure or not?
It is. Yeah, yeah. So, did you get that one sheet I
Yeah.
sent you? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same year. So,
Weird.
so the way we would have known that is when I do the Gomer one sheets.
Did
You know, I
it did,
put
I'm just wondering, like, did it get a shout out on the National Treasure episode?
no, it didn't because the way it would have if it would have made the top 20. And according to
Oh.
Box Office Mojo, which is how I do this,
Yeah.
I always write them in order and then circle the one. And usually the one we do is on that list.
Yeah.
But this was number 68 at the time of, December 31st, 2004.
Interesting. Even though it
So
did good money, right? 40 million or something.
I know. Well, I mean, I took the information from Box Office Mojo. Maybe it's wrong.
Don't blame the messenger. He
Don't
just
blame. Yeah.
um,
Right.
I just thought it was so weird that I was like, oh, 4. I think so. We've done two 2004 movies in three that we've done. I
Yeah.
also noticed that we've done three PG movies in a row now.
Mm. Hmm.
This is a family friendly pod.
Totally. I mean, watch National Treasure.
Yep.
Then wait, what did we do last?
Close Encounters
Oh yeah,
PG.
Close Encounters. Well, 80s PG.
I guess so, but I don't know why you would rate that any higher.
Yeah.
Well,
That
I
I
guess
mean that one.
Barry getting abducted is scary.
Yeah, that's scary. And that one like spider alien,
Yeah,
sort of scary.
he's scary. He's scary too. I do remember being good kind of scared when I was little at those things. Probably because at the end of the movie they're good.
Totally. It's
So,
happy.
yeah, worked for
Um,
me.
so I got a question. When did you see this movie?
I saw this movie in theaters.
Okay. And how? Like how do you remember this like your first hearing of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it looked dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and too many people that I trusted told me it was good to not go.
Mm-hmm. Was it those feline guys?
No, nope. It was some students. I mean, this was a very, we weren't in college anymore
Right.
when this came out, but this was the ultimate college movie. Even though it's
Oh
about
yeah.
high school,
Right.
this was like every and it was the tail end of Gen X, I guess,
Yep.
right? We're college students in '04. It was like this was a post Seinfeld world
Mm-hmm.
where media was allowed to be about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Um, but something about this just hit the folks that I was working with. And
Great.
so enough college students told me, you will love this.
Mm-hmm.
You should see this. It's a fun one in the theater. So I remember seeing it in the theater, and then I remember the DVD that I'm going to read the back of the box of,
Mm.
owning that DVD and watching it so much because I worked with college students. And so this
Yeah.
was a very like safe, I don't know if that's the right word.
No, so that might come up in evidence later.
Okay.
but it's family friendly. It's PG.
Yep.
It's done by a bunch of nice guys.
Some couple
You know, and like
a nice group of Mormons made this.
right in the middle of Idaho. I mean, dude, I have a lot of family that this reminds me of because I have
Interesting.
family, Mormon family that lives in Idaho.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, some of these dudes could 100% be my cousins.
Okay.
I mean, they're
I
not, but they could be. Like,
I have been to Idaho
yep,
in areas that look just like this. Preston,
sure,
Idaho. I spoke at a conference where I was like the first thing I thought when I got to this town was this is this where Napoleon Dynamite was filmed?
hmm,
Um so like it, so it was like always being shown at like parties and like let's watch a movie at the end of a long night or something. And so you
yeah,
catch a lot of it in in parts all the time. You're catching clips of it all the time. And
yeah,
then I probably have seen this movie. I mean, it helps that it's an hour and a half long.
hmm.
I've probably seen this movie 20 times or more
Oh yeah, me too.
in full.
Yep.
Did you
Oh,
see in
that's
the
that's
theaters?
that's once per year since it came out. Good job,
Right,
dude.
exactly. Thanks.
Yeah, so I have 4 screenings of this movie that I want to get to,
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
and then 20 in the middle. But I remember being home in Wisconsin for the summer.
Yes.
So here's where it doesn't make sense because according to the one sheet,
Yeah.
it officially came out August 27th, 2004.
I think it came out limited release earlier than that in June.
Right.
Yeah.
So June 13th was the limited release.
Hmm.
And so it must have gone to Madison because Aaron and I
Probably.
had just celebrated our 1 year anniversary
Hmm.
and we were in Madison and we were all talking about this hilarious new movie that's
Mm.
supposed to be super funny.
Yeah.
But like similar to you, I was like, that sounds dumb. And same
It's a
take.
hard movie to explain, right?
Oh, for sure.
you have to be there kind of movie, right? You have to see it to believe it and understand it. It's impossible to
Yep.
explain.
Well, so I was trying to explain it to one of my one of my friends at church on Sunday.
Who hadn't
She
seen it?
she has a freshman in high school. Yeah, she hadn't seen it.
Okay.
And I was like, your son is a freshman in high school. He needs to see this movie. It's really funny. And I
Right.
tried to explain it, and she's like, okay. And it's really hard to explain.
Good
I
response. That's probably the same response I gave when somebody tried to explain it to me. Now, this was in my much more cynical days. Now I'm much more open. I've not lost my criticism, but I've lost my cynicism, right? So if somebody
yeah,
says this is good, I'm not going to be like, okay, right? I'll be
right.
like, I really want to like that, and so I'm going to go.
Well, and also, yeah, I mean, you're an anti fan of random,
This
right?
is this is like opened the floodgates for a random humor.
Right, exactly. I mean, like, yeah, there's so much that's just 2 or 3 or 4 people just writing something and just being like, I don't know, might be hilarious, you
Yeah,
know?
who knows?
Like,
But I will say that if this is patient zero for random, so it hits.
yeah,
It's
oh,
the
yeah,
it's the 2 decades of we want to be like
yeah,
not being able to really hit the tone of something like this. Some movies do,
mm-hmm,
but I would say mostly it's like commercials. I don't know if this is going to make any sense. Like commercials being random. I hate
okay.
random commercials.
Right.
But
Random.
they all have a Napoleon Dynamite flavor. So
Right.
it's just you can't they're all compared to Napoleon Dynamite and found wanting.
Totally. Well, and you can't write Napoleon Dynamite on a committee in a room of like corporate people that are like, we need another one of those.
Right.
It's Jared Hess and his wife
Mm-hmm.
and their friend John Heater, just like
Right.
in college,
Yeah.
just thinking of this stuff and just being characters and you can't make that up. Like, I mean, I even wrote in my notes, I was like, how do you come up with this?
Well, I think some of it was just their experience in high school,
Yes. Well,
which is
just
awesome.
actual. Mhm.
Um, and some of it is just them, honestly, bro, probably goofing off, throwing stuff at the wall, and for some reason it hits the whole time. An hour and 35 minutes of that worked.
Yep.
Somehow that worked. I think
Yep.
that I like Jared Hess's other stuff. I think Nacho Libre is awesome.
I haven't seen it,
Um,
believe it
and
or
I
not.
think Masterminds, another movie of his with like Kristen Wiig and Jason Sudeikis and Owen Wilson about a bank heist, is really funny.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, but he does not capture the magic of this. I honestly think Nacho Libre gets really close. I would love for you to watch that with your girls. It is so funny.
Okay, we
And it's
we
Jack
definitely
Black.
will.
It's Jack Black just doing funny crap. Just
That's
another weirdo, right? Like,
yeah.
um, that one has an actual plot. So it seems like that one is Jared Hess saying, "What if I directed a movie with a plot?"
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I was thinking about what gets close to this random humor that I actually like. And the closest I can think of is Steve Brule.
Mm, yep.
You know what I mean? There
Sure.
is Napoleon Dynamite DNA in Steve Brule for Your Health,
Yep. Sure.
where it just kind of hits that same. I just the first time I watched Steve Brule, I mean I was ROTFLing
Right.
100%,
Right. It's so
wheezing.
good.
Which was like when I first saw this movie, and I think even especially the second time I saw Napoleon Dynamite, I couldn't breathe.
Yep. Yep. Mm.
I don't know what it was about that second time, but I
But
understood the tone better or something, and I was
yeah,
fully in.
I mean, like I told you when I saw Galaxy Quest,
Mm-hmm.
we all went to two different movies. Some went to Galaxy Quest and some went to what?
I don't
Do you
remember the other
remember?
one. I don't
Okay,
remember
so
what the other one
half of
was.
us went to that and it got done early. Chad could tell us.
Yeah.
It got done early and I went in to saw the last 20 minutes of Galaxy Quest and I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Because I did not know what was happening there. Costumes were falling off. You know, it was
Right.
so weird.
Yes.
And then obviously I saw the error of my ways. And then the first time I saw Forrest Gump, when
Mm,
I was like, I really like I liked it, and of course I love the score and I love Tom
right.
Hanks,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, I don't quite understand.
Mm,
Am I laughing with this guy, at this guy?
mm-hmm.
Am I what is this story? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe people set this up a little better for me when I actually did go to see it. So we saw it that summer
Okay.
when we were back,
Yep.
1 year anniversary,
Uh-huh. Very
and
romantic.
totally romantic with a bunch of people, like
Yep.
probably the Chad, maybe Hack.
Who knows? I
Uh,
might have been there.
you might have been there. Maybe that was your second time. I don't know, dude.
It could be. Yeah.
So it would have been July or August 2004 before we
Uh-huh.
went back to New York,
Right.
and absolutely loved it.
Mm.
And then I have three more showings other than the other 20 plus that I'll talk about when we get to the
Okay, great.
evidences. Um,
Yeah.
but it's
Um,
just great.
well, I think we should jump in. Do you want to read the Gomer one sheet? Then I'll read back of the DVD. It was hard for me to find any VHS. I think this was after. I mean, is
Yeah.
VHS done by '04? I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, probably somebody could put one on a VHS, but dude, you've got the DVD. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Napoleon Dynamite. Official release date August 27th,
Mm-hmm.
2004. Limited release June 13th, 2004. 1 hour 36-minute runtime, filmed on location in Preston, Idaho, starring lots of locals, an entire high school worth of people. I think it's a town of 3,000 or something like that.
No sets built. Every interior is of an actual house,
Mm,
actual high school, actual gymnasiums. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they didn't have the budget to build any sets.
no sets.
Right.
I mean, that van
What
that
do you think
Uncle
about that
Rico,
shape of that van, bro? We've been talking about vehicle shapes a
yeah,
lot lately.
perfect shape. Um, that one's fine.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, that
Yeah,
van,
I think
right?
it's a creeper kind of van. I was listening to, oh, I forgot to write down his name, the main producer, Scott or Seth or something.
Okay.
Um, he and Jared were at, I want to say, like a gas station,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw that van and a guy. like a hippie kind of guy, and they
Uh-huh.
were like, "That's the van. Can we rent that?" And so they went to the dude.
Oh, the actual van.
Yeah, they were like, "Can
Jesus.
we have that for our movie?"
Yeah. I think it's coded creepy and a little sad, that van, right? Like
Yep.
it's a van that your uncle lives out of
Yeah.
in a field. And so it's
Yeah.
not like the Twister truck where
No.
we're like, I love that. It's more like it's perfect. That van is perfect, but
Yes.
the shape of it for some reason makes me feel a little skeevy.
Yeah. I mean, it's you have memories of that kind of stuff being creepy.
Yeah.
It's enough in our like we would have been in high school
It's
and seen a
curtains.
van
It's
like that.
curtains on the windows that does it for me in a van like
Uh,
that.
I know, and we had one of those. But it
Yeah.
was a minivan though. I think the bigger ones for some reason are a little creepier, right?
Yeah, Jessica had a van with curtains that was not like Uncle Rico's, but it was that sort of like conversion van.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was cool. We'll probably talk about that when we get to the evidence again.
Okay. She
Okay.
crashed and totaled it, so
Oh,
the story for
okay.
another time.
Nice. Jeez, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right, budget. Unbelievable. $400,000.
Yeah.
Uh, hopefully we'll that'll come back up in evidence too.
Uh-huh.
Grossed at the box office after an unbelievable run at Sundance
Mm-hmm.
and some genius, just kind of like slow burn marketing
Right.
at Sundance, being not very far away from Preston, Idaho, I believe.
Okay.
Uh, they they hit the jackpot.
Yeah. And there was
Uh,
like a bidding war over it. I
yeah,
mean, people wanted it. It's awesome.
yep. Fox Searchlight ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting it. I think it's their number one DVD ever sold.
I wouldn't
I
be
think.
surprised. Like just I that DVD cover is just like it was everywhere.
Yep,
Everybody had this DVD.
yep. It's it's like capturing lightning in a bottle. This movie.
Yeah.
You
Which is going to
can't.
be a little bit difficult then to prove that it's perfect because but still, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's funny: 44.5 million America,
Uh-huh.
U.S., 46 million worldwide. So
Did not play
I
well overseas.
right. So I think just the tone and language, I just don't think translates. Like I listened to an interview with
Right.
John Heater.
Uh-huh.
Is that his
Yep.
name or
Mm-hmm.
Hater?
John Heater.
Heater.
Mm-hmm.
And he said at the time of the interview, which was within the last few years, that it was kind of peaking in Japan
Okay.
a
That
little
that
bit.
makes sense a little. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
But he said in English speaking countries, they think it's pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, just specifically the U.S., we just know. Um,
For
awards and
some reason
achievements,
we love that
it had
random humor.
right. Awards and achievements, it had a few Schmo awards and some MTV awards.
Never heard of Schmo
And
Awards before.
Schmoes, the
All
Schmoes, I
right.
don't
Okay.
know.
Yep.
Um, directed by Jared Hess,
Mm-hmm.
written by Jared and Jerusha Hess. Dude, there's so many things in researching this movie that I didn't know. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize not only was it written by a married couple basically just at their house,
Uh-huh.
but John Heater was married during this time. Everybody, I mean, they're basically like the alternate universe side of us. You know, like all these Christian, we were all these Christians that were married in our early 20s.
Well, that's again, it's just all these guys are Mormons.
Right. So they're all married.
They'd
Um,
all been on their missions. They're all
they had
home from their missions.
already been on their missions. I mean, dude, so that's where the name Napoleon Dynamite came from.
He met a guy or something actually
Yeah.
named that. Is that right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I guess on his mission he met a homeless dude. And in
Okay.
Chicago, and his name was Napoleon Dynamite.
He filed that away for later use.
Yeah, because I guess originally his name was supposed to be Seth,
Okay.
not Napoleon. Not nearly as funny.
No, I mean that just the name does a lot of heavy lifting in this movie.
And I guess Kip was supposed to be Kendis.
I like Kip.
I know, I love Kip,
Well,
but they were
there's a
like,
lot of things I like about Kip. One of them is his name.
I know, totally. It's so great. Rotten Tomatoes, 72% critic, 74% audience.
Yeah. Well liked.
Um, well liked. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk about it.
Let me read the back of this DVD. Um, Hilarious New York Post, wonderfully original people. I mean, I think everybody was surprised. That's the tone I get from a lot of reviews that I read of this movie is
Yeah.
surprise. Like,
Right.
why this movie really worked for me.
Uh
And I
huh.
don't quite understand why, but I want to see it again.
Yep.
And so I have a theory about why it made so much money, but here's what it says on the back of the box. Napoleon Dynamite is a new kind of hero, complete with a tight fro, sweet moon boots, and skills that can't be topped. Napoleon spends his day drawing mythical beasts, duking it out with his brother Kip, and avoiding his scheming Uncle Rico. When two friends enter Napoleon's life, Shy Deb and Mustachioed Pedro, the trio launches a campaign to elect Pedro for class president and make the student body's wildest dreams come true. But if Pedro is to beat stuck-up Summer, Napoleon will have to unleash his secret weapon. Now they are really reaching for a plot in this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like
know.
I guess like that's the plot, I guess, right?
Yeah,
That
I guess so, but there's no arc and there's no growth.
and that plot, the Pedro running for president plot doesn't happen until more than halfway through. That doesn't start, right? So
Right.
and there's no actual setup for that plot. It's just things happening. So we'll get to that when we get to the evidence.
Yep.
Good News Nation, like I said. No, it's PG, Good News Nation, Good News Nation. It's in color. Kind of a very special Preston, Idaho sheen on
Hmm.
this movie. And like you said, 136. Wow. Did you like that when you saw that
Oh,
that
I love
runtime?
that. That's so great. I mean, you've gotten me interested in hour and a half long movies.
Mm.
It
Well,
it does make sense. For the right one, it makes
yes,
sense.
exactly. This is the kind of movie, and we've done these kind of movies before, that is the right length for this movie. Any more would have been too much.
Yep.
You can't sustain what they're doing in this movie much longer than 135.
Yep. Just like Wayne's World.
Exactly.
It's this movie is basically little vignettes
Yep.
tied like pieced together, you know?
Little tiny comedy set pieces strung
Mm,
together.
yep.
Okay, let's head into the let me say that again. Oh, let's head
Yep.
into the trial. We're going to find out if Napoleon Dynamite is perfect.
All right. Here, can you say, okay, let's head into the trial?
Okay, let's head into the trial.
All right, hold on. Let me listen to this on the headphones. Stop here and just make sure I'm not like clipping or.
Got it. Yep.
Oh, it sounds great.
Okay, good.
Sounds great. Okay. Go to 2730.
Great.
I just wanted to make sure like it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like get to the end of the movie and be like, oh, the podcast and be like, oh crap, it sounds
Yeah.
horrid.
Yep.
Sounds awesome. If I do say so. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's start this over again. 2730.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, click. Roll in. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap.
All rise.
Hey, how's it going over there, you fat lard? Oh, geez, give me some of that steak. I'm so hungry. Oh, Tina, come get your ham, you fat lard.
Tina, you fat. I mean, this movie is so immediately quotable,
Yep.
and we'll get to that. But and the other thing is anything you say from it is funny.
Yep.
But not everybody probably agrees with that. But
Yeah, and
um,
there's something also about when something random and totally off the beaten path becomes mainstream, and then everybody says it, and then you're like, oh,
you get it. It has like a short life then, but I can't believe it's been 20 years.
yeah, I can't either.
It
Unreal.
does come back around then once it leaves the like forefront of the culture. Then I
Yep.
think Napoleon Dynamite starts being funny again.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, every single bassoon lesson my second year of grad school,
Uh-huh.
me and Whitney talked about Napoleon, you know? Like
Wow.
it's just part of our vernacular, dude.
Well, just on campus. Also, it was
Oh,
just, I mean, the amount of weddings I went to
mm,
where instead of I do, the guy actually said, I do.
oh
What
man.
was, I would say three, maybe four weddings.
Wow.
This is the most important time of the moment of their
I know.
life.
You're saying you're making a commitment for life and you're quoting Napoleon
I
Dynamite.
do.
You know I
Um,
do.
okay. This is how this works. Perfect movie. We pick a movie that we love and we talk through it. We act as its defense counsel and present evidence to attempt to one another and to you, the listener, that the movie is not only good, but it's perfect. When we're done, Anthony gets a vote. I get a vote. We put a poll up on Instagram, and our listeners get a vote. If they vote 75%, it's a yes. If three yeses, then perfect. It goes up to our evil alien of the year, Locutus of Borg. That's Jean-Luc Picard when he is bad.
Bad boy Jean-Luc.
Bad, yeah, he's a bad boy. He's got half his face is electronics.
And
He's got
that
that
laser
laser
sight.
coming out of his eye. He's gonna point that laser right at Deb from Napoleon Dynamite, and her side ponytail be converted into a nice young man. All right. Um, the point. This is we've done a lot of comedies lately.
Yeah. Oh wait, you didn't say the part about when you hear this sound.
Oh, when you hear this sound, oops, I don't have. That's because I don't have this sound. Then one of us is presenting an evidence.
Got it.
Lots of comedies this year. I've liked it not only because of the run times,
Mm-hmm.
but because I think we get and it's been like um, we did Wayne's World, aforementioned. It's 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did uh, Happy Gilmore. I guess that's 90s as well, but later 90s, right?
Yeah, but this is canon stuff for us.
Yeah,
Canon
definitely.
fodder.
Yes, I do think I used to watch a lot more comedies, or maybe there just were a lot more comedies.
There just were, dude. We talk
Yeah.
about that every single time we do a comedy.
Yep.
But what's the last comedy you went to?
I mean, does Barbie count? Probably not. Is Barbie a
Yeah,
comedy? I remember
Barbie's.
laughing a lot in Barbie.
Yep. I mean, what just won the Emmy for best comedy? The Bear.
A laugh riot.
Like a laugh riot, dude. Which I freaking love the Bear,
Nothing
dude.
against the bear, but it's not
No,
Napoleon Dynamite. It
right.
is
I mean,
not Barbie either. It's like I guess it's fun a little bit. I don't
right.
know. It's too stressful.
Yeah, I love it though.
I love it too, but I would not. Would you ever like say, yeah, funniest thing I've seen all year, the bear?
Totally. I mean, there was the Italian Christmas at the house
Yeah.
episode,
Yep.
and I my mouth was on the floor for the entire episode because I was like, how did they do this? Where 10 people are talking at once for 30 minutes.
It's different than like cringe comedy, like The
Right.
Office, right? Where you're
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my gosh,
Right.
I'm so uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
Yep.
The bear doesn't do that to me. I get why it is labeled a comedy, but it's not. It's just not like 80s, 90s, even early 2000s comedy. That is, it just doesn't feel present anymore.
Yep.
Um,
Jokes, slapstick,
yeah,
body humor. Yeah.
situational humor.
Yep.
Um, okay, I have some evidences prepared. How about you?
Oh, I do.
Okay, you want to start? Should I?
Yeah, I'll start, dude.
Great.
All right. So I told you about the viewings of this
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
So first one was summer of of me and Aaron's first year of marriage.
Yep.
Then second, so that Christmas we came back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to get to the evidence, I promise. Second, I had two audiences that we were going to watch it with. Aaron's family.
Okay.
So Aaron's mom specifically, who is a middle school guidance counselor,
Right. Yeah.
and Bacop, who keeps it Rizzio, right?
Right.
And I,
The
I thought, dude,
famous Spock Cop. Yep.
yep, the Bacop. I thought that Bacop was going to think it was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And I thought Aaron's family, specifically her mom, because I really wanted to see her reaction,
Yeah.
was going to think it was lame.
Okay. I
And
don't think my parents have ever seen this movie, and I don't think they would think it's funny. That's just my
oh,
guess. Mom and Dad, I know that you're both listening.
yeah,
I am wondering if this is the kind of movie that you would think is at all funny.
okay. Well, okay, so Aaron's mom thought it was a laugh riot, dude.
Okay,
And
awesome.
middle school guidance counselor, she's like, I know these people,
That
dude.
probably helps, right? Like
It
you
like,
recognize a lot of people you know in this movie.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. And we watched, and Aaron was like, did like a hard sell too. But man, like we had so much fun watching it with the
Okay.
family at Christmas. Then we watched it with Bach Hop, like no laughs. Totally didn't get it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that sort of makes sense in a certain way to me that it would go over his head.
I think he was just like, what? Although he loves Little Nicky. Um,
Which I've never seen.
I've never seen that either. So where was I going with that? I had a point, dude. Um,
Your evidence has something to do with how many times you've watched it in different situations.
okay, yeah. Um, just
A
okay,
little
yeah, I guess.
redirection. I'm helping him out here, folks.
Well, I was going somewhere, but I needed
Yes.
to drop that in.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Is that an
maybe
evidence? Does it
okay,
have nothing to do with that?
here's what the evidence was, dude. I'll chunk in again. The evidence was the tone slash humor slash aesthetic.
Okay.
So it's just like it's it's PG,
Yep.
so it's like non-offensive.
Right. It kind of
Uh
gets close and then backs off. I feel
yes,
like
yeah.
a
So
couple
like I
times.
was the first time I saw it, dude, I
Mm-hmm.
was really afraid when Uncle Rico went for that glamour shot.
Yes,
I was like,
definitely.
is this going to be the moment where something bad happens?
I know, and it's such a relief that he's so dumb that all
Yeah,
he does is he hands her that flyer.
right.
And also I don't think that Uncle Rico has any ulterior motive than to make money in that scene. And so
Not at
it's
all.
just this amazing release of phew, I'm not
Yep.
going to have to deal with anything right now.
Yeah, that because I was afraid that the movie was about to get ruined the first time I saw it. Right there.
I remember that feeling too. Yep.
I wonder. I wonder if when they wrote that scene, if they didn't mind you feeling like that for a little bit, or if
Hmm.
that was totally unintentional. Uh,
Deb looks uncomfortable
yep.
and is like, what's going on? And then Rico unbuttons his top button. So I do think it's intentional that we're supposed to worry
Mm,
there
okay.
and then realize, nope, he's just an idiot.
Total moron.
Yep.
Total moron. Uh, it's family friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we watched it, like I said, with the fam,
Hmm.
with they're now grandparents, but they weren't grandparents then.
Right.
I haven't watched it with, I think my mom would think it was funny. I've never watched it with her.
Okay.
Um, but just like it has this, like I feel like some of the comedies around then were very like pretty people,
Right.
and this is just not that.
Is that what you mean about the aesthetic working for you?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
there's I mean, so there was the aesthetic we talked about in Close Encounters,
Mm-hmm.
um, of just that total mess of a house.
Yep.
This has, the wood paneling in Grandma's house. Do they live at Grandma's house?
I think so. We don't ever hear about their parents.
Huh.
We don't know who Uncle Rico is related to, their dad or their mom,
Uh-huh.
but we never see them, and they live with their grandma. But we don't see their bedrooms. These two, I mean, Kip is a grown man who chats online with babes all day in the
Yep.
living room.
Yep.
So I don't know if they had to put stuff in the bedrooms and so they couldn't film in there or something.
Yeah.
Um, The other thing is that it is taking place in 2004. You see his school ID at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
but it does
Yeah.
not seem like it's 2004. And so there's also kind of that throws you a little bit. Like, is this an 80s movie?
Well, so that's part of the aesthetic too.
I
Like which
agree.
actually I think sort of makes it timeless
Yes.
because it's feels 80s, but he's got a computer, but it's a kind of a crappy computer. But you know what
Once,
I mean?
yeah, there's the cars are modern.
Yep.
Some of them are, but and I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's exactly right. It makes it timeless, not setting it in a 2004 that we would have recognized.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something about the fact that she is selling those bracelets in those like I'm Jessica would know what they're called, but those like little cases
Yeah, like a
that girls
jewelry
had
case
right
or
in the 90s and in the 80s. Yep.
yep.
He's got a trapper keeper.
Yep. So some of that was the aesthetic from when we were kids, which
Right.
makes sense because we're their age.
I'm wondering if Jared Hess is making a comment on Idaho with that, right? Like Idaho's just 15 to 20 years behind.
Right.
Now I'm not from there, so I'm not going to make that point because I don't know that that's true or not.
Right.
But or if it's just like this is how like maybe this is what you were getting to. This is how I remember it. Like
Mm,
if we were going to make a movie set now about our high school,
yeah.
it probably would look like the 90s,
Yep.
even though 2024 sort of looks like the 90s right now.
Yeah. Sorta.
But that may be why. Maybe because a lot of the stories were stories that he had, he sets it when he makes it look like it looked.
Yep.
So I agree with you that the aesthetic is something special. And then you said tone also, and I agree with that, but it's harder for me to describe what that is exactly.
Yeah, so it's sarcastic but not mean.
Right?
It's kind of just catching people the way they are. So like when she's like just that time when Napoleon just goes like you know?
Which is why I don't think it would play well if it was dubbed. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the delivery is the delivery is so important,
Yeah.
not only in Napoleon, but in everybody.
Yeah.
That if you're dubbing it in German, how are you
Yeah.
capturing it?
Yeah, it's yeah, it's too hard.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not too hard. I think comedy is hard to translate
right. Yep. But
just
especially
because
this one when there's a very specific delivery and tone.
okay, so I mean, like one of my first favorite lines is just when he's like, "My lips hurt real bad." Like,
They're having that
can you?
chapstick argument
I
over the
know.
phone. He wants her to use one of the nurses. Kip is suggesting he uses one of the nurses' chapsticks.
Yeah.
And, and Napoleon is disgusted by that, which I would be too. So that's a perfect example of like, why does this, what's happening right now, advance any plot?
It doesn't.
It
It,
doesn't. And you realize pretty soon okay, this is what this movie is. I
yep.
really think that because it's a Seinfeld generation, there's a people are willing to receive that
Yep.
in a different way than they would have 10 years earlier.
Yeah, because it's just like, you know what that feels like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like you'd probably say something like that, right? And then you just see it on screen and you're like, yeah, totally, dude. Like that's what observational humor is.
Yes,
So it's like I get it when
definitely.
you're like, just come pick me up. I don't want to be here at school anymore. You
Why? I
know?
don't feel good. But he had just gotten beaten up, which is why he didn't feel good.
Worst day of my life. What do you think?
How was school today? There's just and sometimes he'll just add a word. I wish I could call it something up. Um, oh, he says something like, "She probably hates me by now. She probably hates my guts by now."
Yeah, right,
That's so good.
right. I mean, like, yeah. Um, let me add that then to my fourth viewing
Okay.
after 30 more, which was then to an audience of 8 and 12-year-olds.
Right. Which I was nervous about when I
Uh-huh.
showed it to my 8 and 10-year-old.
Okay.
Because I was like, is this gonna play? Because of things that we were talking about. This is at that point it was like a 15-year-old movie. It felt very specific to me. Um, Now the thing I had going for me is we had watched Steve Brule together and they loved him, and so I said it's sort of like him. It's that vibe.
Nice.
Um, and it went over gangbusters with
Mm.
the boys, and so much so that we dressed up as them that Halloween.
Oh yeah, I mean that you'll have to share that picture again when this comes out because that
Right. Okay. Good idea.
is one of the best ever. Um,
Jessica as
but
Deb, me as Uncle Rico,
yeah,
Noah perfectly as Napoleon.
yeah,
He has
yeah,
the and then Jack almost as good as Kip, all
yep.
sitting on the couch looking. What is the look they have? It's just kind of like a vacant kind of, you have to open your mouth a little bit, right? And you're just kind of staring off into
Yep.
space.
It,
People know the picture, yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of like always a little bit sad and depressed.
I
I mean,
guess, but they've accepted their lot in life. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. There's a simple life about it, like a
Yeah.
simplicity of owning very few things. Um,
Yep. Spending your
but
money on your last money on a time machine.
time machine, those crystals. I mean, perfect hand motion when he puts those little crystals in there.
I had
I
forgot
forgot the
about the
crystals.
crystals. I said out loud, I forgot about the crystals when we watched it last night.
Dude, perfect crystals, dude. Um, but
Okay, so your fourth viewing was with the girls recently, right?
yeah, yeah. So we watched it last weekend, and we're batting 100 right now with the
Wow.
girls with movies.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did the two Spider-Mans you wanted us to watch.
Thank you.
The weekend before that, we watched Father of the Bride 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks before that, we watched Back to the Future 1, 2, 3.
National
Uh,
Treasure. Did you watch National
National
Treasure with me? Yeah.
Treasure.
Yep.
And seriously, I mean, we're in the high 90s.
I mean,
And
all those are home runs for me, but it is nerve-wracking when you are showing them to your kids for the first time.
well, I think one of the ways I go about it, specifically for Goonies, remember, I showed Lily when she was a little kid all the scary parts of Sloth and how silly he is,
Right. Yeah, you prepped
and
her a
then
bit for it.
made Goonies easy as pie, go down easy. Uh, this I knew we needed to watch it for the podcast,
Yeah.
and so this is all within the evidence number one of tone,
Uh-huh.
aesthetic, and humor.
Yeah.
Why honestly it can appeal to most people. I don't know.
Hmm.
This isn't a broad appeal evidence though. It's just that it's just so good.
Well, how can this movie have such a specific tone and yet be so broadly loved?
But
It's incredible.
I know. Well, so I'm trying to think of when my mind went totally at ease.
Mm.
So Lily was in from the get-go. Isla actually went and sat in another room, but like watched sort of like side
Wow.
eye.
Okay. She
She watched
she
side eye.
distanced herself just in case.
Yep. And totally. Which she told us later, she thought it was going to be about things blowing up.
I see, because of Dynamite.
Yep.
I understand. That makes sense. Well, the opening scene is odd, right? What would you consider the
So
opening scene? There's the
is the
credits.
opening scene the bus?
Yes, the bus when he
Okay,
throws that action
so
figure
dude,
out.
okay, so no, this is when my mind went at ease. The little boy, he's like, "What are you gonna do today, Napoleon?" He's like, "Whatever I feel like." Gosh, right? And dude, it
Yes.
was like an explosion of laughter,
Mm-hmm.
and Isla was right at ease. She's like, "Oh, I thought this was like a scary movie,
Oh,
or like something
interesting. Yeah.
about things blowing up."
Uh-huh.
And so this was Lily's review. So they both really enjoyed it, and
Okay. Can
maybe
I
I'll
just
talk
say
about it
real
more
quick?
later.
I
Yeah.
remember feeling that ease the first time I watched it on the bus. I was like,
Yep.
I'm gonna love this movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, what a genius little opening.
Yep.
Maybe,
I
maybe.
love the opening credits with the
Mm,
food where
me
you
too.
really get that aesthetic, right?
Mm,
It all kind of looks gross,
yep.
but I do love, I mean, you and I both, we love a creative opening credit
Mm,
sequence.
totally. And
And
that's so
it's
low
amazing.
budget, dude.
Oh yeah. They're just making that out of food. So I was like, okay, I'm liking this, but then Bus was I guess relief is a pretty good way of putting it. Like, yeah, I can settle into this. I really like it. And then it just scene after scene, not a miss.
Yep. Just keeps going.
Yep.
So I guess maybe that would be another evidence is perfect opening scene
Yeah.
because then Isla went from the side of the room
Hmm.
to the couch and then Laugh Riot. It does kind of fall flat in the middle, I think. It
Yeah,
gets
I
it
guess you're
gets a
right.
little slow. Um, but afterwards, Lily was like, "That was awesome," and I was like,
Okay.
"What do you think?" And she said, "She's like, that's my life." And then I was
What's
like,
that mean? This is very
okay, so
interesting.
that's what Aaron and I said. I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, I already knew every quote to that movie and I didn't even know it.
Uh-huh.
She's
I
like,
see.
that
Part of
sounds
the
like,
vernacular. Yep.
she said, that sounds like my life.
Hmm.
So it wasn't that she feels like Napoleon or she feels like that
Right.
place,
Yeah.
but she was like, I didn't even realize when we talk about the movie quotes that made us, that
Yeah.
whole idea we had,
Hmm.
this is just deep in the vernacular.
Yeah. I think probably we were saying make yourself a dang quesadilla
Oh, yeah.
before the boys had seen that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Uh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm really pleased to hear about Isla moving from one room to the other to
That's
enjoy
a
this
big
movie
move for an 8-year-old dude.
for sure. I'll just
Uh,
sit over here and draw, or I'll just sit over here and play
yep.
Legos or whatever, right? But then to
Yep.
move to the couch,
Yeah.
like Johnny
All
Carson calling you over to the couch.
That's it. And it was all because of gosh. Like
Whatever I
we
feel like doing, gosh, he's mad at that kid for asking.
Yep, so there's so much good. And we'll get to
Yeah.
more quotables later, but I
Also,
just
he is like
yeah.
so much older than anyone on that bus.
Oh,
He's on
totally.
an elementary school bus. but but that's never addressed or anything.
That's what I'm talking. There's so much that's not addressed, dude.
Yes,
I
that
love
might
it.
be part of the secret sauce is that there is so much that you just have to go with. But I'm gonna chunk in. Is that cool?
Great.
Okay. As I was thinking about this movie, and I guess about other movies that we've watched, comedy movies that we've watched, I love a weirdo in a world of weirdos movie.
Mm,
So we've done movies like I think that there's a couple different kinds of this person is a weirdo or in a weird world movie, right? There's like it's a weirdo and no one else is weird.
right.
So like Elf,
Yep.
he's weird and everybody normal has to figure out how to deal with him. That's like every Adam Sandler 90s movie also, right?
Yep.
He's a weirdo. I would say probably the least of those is Happy Gilmore. Maybe Wedding Singer where he's kind of normal. But like if you think of Billy Madison or Little Nicky, which I've not seen, but I assume um it's you know what I mean? Like everybody's like, what a weirdo.
Yep.
I think probably Wayne's World gets there are more weird characters around them,
They've got a they've got a crew,
right?
their crew. But yeah, but when he gets together, with the execs,
Right.
they're
When Rob
normal.
Lowe is around, it's
Yeah.
like, what do I do with these guys?
Right.
Um, I think Pee Wee probably has the most DNA shared with Napoleon in that everybody in Pee Wee's Big Adventure is a weirdo, also.
Yep.
But I think this movie does it the best. Everyone he meets is I don't know if this is offensive, is like abnormal in some way and has a very specific take on their character. So this probably has to do with the acting, but it's probably well, I don't know what exactly it is. They're given permission, but if you think about Kip, like what a weirdo.
So weird, dude. What is he doing? Where is he going? Like,
I don't know. He's just and so beautifully weird, you know? Like I love when he kind of peeks out from behind the computer and when they're slapping each other and
yep,
um so he gets his own plot, right?
yep.
Which is meeting LaFonda, who is a weirdo also.
Who's related to Jamiroquai, right?
Right? Try this, my cousin, or
Yeah.
whatever. So either she is or she's lying, which is also really probably that's also an option. Um, Uncle Rico's like we said, he's a moron. He's obsessed with his past, and that's funny.
It's so funny, dude. Like, I mean, he's like when he makes Kip watch those tapes of him throwing the football, he's like, dude, watch this, and he's like, and Kip's like, yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess. You know, like,
What? And so Rico and Kip work really well together as a comedy duo.
I know, dude. It's oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So I was watching some behind the scenes stuff
Hmm.
or listening to an interview again with that producer, and it was actually a producer podcast,
Okay.
and he was saying that Jared Hess like wrote every line and really knew how he wanted it delivered,
Mm.
and so I guess he kind of like did very specific line readings like all the time.
Okay.
And so more seasoned actors were actually pretty annoyed by that
I see. Yeah.
because he's like, he was like, say it like this.
Okay. I
It
got you.
hurts real
So
bad,
yeah. So it's like
you know?
Aaron Sorkin, where he will not let the
Yes.
people read his script any other way. He won't let
Right.
them add a comma. He won't add them he won't let them add a word or a pause,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But the absolute weirdest version of that is this movie.
Yeah. So it sounds like they just had like, this is the tone.
Yeah.
So so like, I don't even know how that works with casting, but when you get Rico
Hmm.
and Kip together, it's just, it's perfect, dude.
When they're sitting on the stoop and he
Yeah.
says, "How much you want to bet I could throw this football over them mountains?" Back in '82, I could throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Quarter mile.
And Kip's like, really? Like he believes him. That's what works with that
I know it's
relationship.
that's pretty
I don't
cool.
know. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
dude, when he, I mean, like top moment ever, dude, is when he chucks that steak.
exactly. Check this out. And Kip goes, "That's what I'm talking about."
That's what I'm talking about.
I think Pedro is really funny. I think
Mm,
Deb is really funny, and they're both
yeah.
weirdos. I even
Yep.
think like Summer Wheatley and her boyfriend are really
Totally.
funny.
Oh man, the like Chris Calgren kind of guy that's like,
He's always
uh.
popping his shirt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
He's
oh, this is stupid or this is cool. Like, what? That guy makes a meal of every scene he's in. He hardly says
I know
anything.
he's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Summer Wheatley is that's Haley Duff.
Yeah. She a Duff? Is she a Duff? Is she
She's
one of the
Hillary Duff's
Duffs?
sister.
Okay. All right.
And so okay, couple little fun facts about that
Mm-hmm.
from some research I was doing. I guess she tried out for Deb
Okay.
and was like, I am not that character,
Huh.
but I
Interesting.
want to be in this so bad that I will
Wow.
do it for like nothing.
Huh. Wow. So, um, can you hear me still?
Yep, got you.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I lost you for a second. So I was trying to think of who's famous in this movie, right? Like it's basically unknowns, right?
Yep.
But Haley Duff is of the Duff dynasty.
Uh-huh.
Deb, Tina Majorino. I teased this in a episode a couple. I don't know which one it was. I think it was our school supplies app. She's the little girl in Waterworld.
Oh, right. Okay, which I didn't see, but you told
Yeah.
me about.
So
Yep. Okay.
she's the girl who has the listeners who've seen Waterworld. She has the directions to dry land tattooed on her back. She's like the MacGuffin of Waterworld, basically.
Oh, I could remember that. Okay.
Um, I don't know that she's been in anything else big. And then Diedrich Bader, who's Rex Kwon Do,
Mm-hmm.
is probably the most famous person in this movie because he was in Office Space.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. So,
Check out. I don't even want to say the line.
right.
Hey, Peter Man.
Um, but otherwise, and also he is the voice of one of my favorite Batmen from Batman Brave and the Bold, a cartoon that the boys and I used to watch. So he's got
Okay.
kind of that like low gravelly voice, and it's really great as Batman, especially a
Okay.
comedy Batman. Um, but otherwise, it's all unknowns. The
Yeah,
leads are unknown, right?
totally.
John
So I guess
Heater,
the
Pedro,
gr the
Uncle Rico, and Kip.
yep. I guess the grandma Sandy Martin had been in stuff before.
Another
Um,
weirdo, another total weirdo.
so weird, dude. We're gone for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Lyle's gonna get some steak. Make yourself a dang quesadilla.
She says Lyle's gonna take care of it, and we see Lyle shooting that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Genius.
So
So
even the very side characters like Lyle are so weird.
oh
And
yeah.
my best guess, I haven't read anything about this, is just people that lived in the area, right?
Yeah, so
That wanted
that
to be
the
in a
guy that
movie.
yeah, so the guy that plays Lyle, he's like
Uh-huh. Yep.
like that little scene there,
Mm.
the cameras were rolling and that guy was just talking.
Okay.
And that they
I
were
love
like,
that.
that's so funny. Just put that in. Like it's unintelligible, right?
Which
Um,
makes it great. Yeah.
I know it's so great. Actually, that'd be fun to watch with closed captioning. Did you watch that?
No. Oh, that's a good call.
That'd be
We
interesting to
should.
watch with that.
Yeah, okay.
Um, so I
My
guess
homework for
when,
the result show.
yeah. So I guess when when this was kind of getting, getting made, um, one of the producers actually wanted Jake Gyllenhaal to play Napoleon.
I heard about some weird casting stuff. I heard Jack Black maybe for Uncle Rico also.
Yeah, so they offered Jack Black $10,000
Ooh,
for
wow.
for one day to come do it, and I
Huh.
think he was interested, but it just didn't work out or something like that. I mean, that
Okay.
would have been funny,
Yeah.
but I mean, Rex Kwon Do with Miss Cease, like rules.
I think
Um,
Rex Kwon Do was also almost went to what's his name from Seinfeld? Putty.
oh
Um
yeah, yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna re-say that.
okay.
And then like Rex Kwon Do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll edit that. I don't want. I thought that was gonna make you laugh, but it didn't.
I don't know what Miss Cease was.
Miss Cease. He was married to Miss Cease.
Yeah, Miss
Never
Cease from
mind.
our
It's
gym
not
teacher.
funny. Take it off
Okay.
of YouTube. Uh,
Oh, she looks like Miss Cease. Scarlet, what Scarlet or whatever her name.
yeah,
Okay, sorry, I
not
didn't
funny.
catch it.
Didn't work.
Okay.
So I'll edit that part. Bonus for YouTube friends.
Yep.
Yeah, Brad Garrett. So
Oh, Brad
this
Garrett. That's who it was. Yeah, okay. Got it.
so
I was
this is
confused. I thought it was the guy from Seinfeld who uh
wait, who's Bruce Campbell?
Bruce Campbell is from Evil Dead. Would make a lot of sense in this movie. What was he up
Okay,
for?
okay, so he was up for Rex also.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense.
This
People would
this
have loved that. Yeah.
this is
Uh,
a funny line from somebody uh that they were trying to get to play Rex said, and it was an unnamed person said, I play small parts in big movies or big parts in small movies, but I don't play small parts in small movies.
yeah. Well, it's good to have you have your rules, right? Probably
Uh-huh.
as an actor. And this
Yeah.
is a small part in a small movie.
Yeah.
Even though I think anybody who would have played Rex would have gotten some juice out of this movie, right? Because
100%.
I do think
You
Diedrich
just
Bader built a career off of being Rex in this movie.
mm, those Zubas. I mean,
Those American flag Zupas.
they're perfect.
Yeah.
He's incredible in this.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Yep.
it's just you can't pre-visualize what's going to be good and what's not going to be good. Like when I sent you those behind the scenes videos from YouTube this morning.
We were LOLing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super funny. You can tell the bones are there. It's funny.
And the crew is laughing. So
And
that's a
the
good sign, right? Like
totally.
when they're filming things and the crew is laughing after the take, that's a good sign.
Yep.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just incredible that they're used to making basically high budget or low like high quality home movies,
Yeah.
and then they just get enough film to make 3 full takes of every scene.
Mm-hmm.
They get Panavision cameras, real 35 millimeter film, and they get
Then there's a limited amount of things they can film.
yeah.
Crazy.
So, but it's just amazing what happens when you give really funny,
Mm.
creative, smart people some awesome tools and a little bit of money,
Yep.
what they'll do with it.
It's amazing. Yeah. So then I do think that when he makes a Nacho Libre after this, you can tell the budget is a lot bigger. And
Mm,
Jack Black is the star, and so he's able to get some star power in.
hmm
Um, but I still think he had a limited budget, and so every line reading, like in this movie, is odd. And so I
hmm
just wonder if that's what he's doing. Okay, take one, an odd line reading. Okay, do it a little odder. Emphasize this word or this syllable instead.
Uh-huh.
And then he has three weird things to choose from. And actually, I watched the behind the scenes of Jack Black talking about that for Nacho Libre. And there's a part in the movie, you'll see it, where he sings a little song. And they actually gave him more takes. And after like 5 or 6 takes, he's like, I don't think this is funny.
Hmm.
And Jared has had to be like, trust me, it's funny. You don't
Hmm.
think it's funny because it's so weird right now, but it's funny. And it is so funny. And so sometimes you
Nice.
just have to trust the director or the writer
Yeah.
to be like, no, it's gonna be funny, but that must be hard if
But
you
yeah,
don't
so
think it's funny.
that's the hard part, especially when it's like, there are directors where people are like, their movies are so great, I will just do whatever they say because I know it's going to be awesome.
Right? Yep.
This is a totally different case where you're
Right.
like, dude, I've
Exactly.
worked
Just
a
some
lot
kid.
more than you.
Yeah.
I know what's funny.
Right.
Like you could see, I don't know, Alexander
Hmm.
coming in to play a part, and he's like, "No, I'm not
Right.
doing that."
Yes, I'm
You know what I
sure
mean?
he has done that.
Right. He
Yeah.
like I just pulled his name out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
somebody that's a really seasoned comic actor would be like, "No, mm-mm.
I can tell that's not funny, right? And so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, it's pretty obvious in those clips that you sent me. They really trust Jared Hess,
mm-hmm,
and they know we're on a very limited budget. We're gonna give it our all. And what comes out of it is this, and this is my evidence, this weirdo among weirdos movie that really works.
mm,
Um, I think what you're saying about the middle dragging is the middle is when it's least weird.
mm.
So I think that's like they're at the dance, then they go around with Rico a little bit too much, selling his Tupperware.
He drives over that one.
There are for sure things that pop hard, but I do think it's least weird in the middle, and then
Yep.
it picks up the weirdness at the end again.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Tupperware stuff is genius, though.
Yeah.
I remember Tupperware salesman. I can
Hmm.
remember that happening.
Yep.
I remember that Tupperware. You
24
probably
piece set.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years before that, though, that's to your Idaho point. And I
Yeah.
don't know if we have any Gomer listeners in Idaho. Love Idaho. Super cool. It's actually really pretty.
Oh yeah. But my guess is that he is making a commentary about that, and the Tupperware is maybe a part of that, right? Like
Sure.
in these kind of plains of Idaho, there still exist Tupperware door to door Tupperware salesmen.
Right. When I guess that's just pre-Target,
Pre-internet.
right?
Yeah.
Pre-internet. You
Yep.
don't need that stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The closest stuff we get to internet in this movie is online chat with babes all day. And then
Yeah,
I
you're right.
also love the conversation where he asks him how much that costs. He's paying by the minute, and he's, I know, 3 or 4 hours sometimes. I mean, it pays off. He meets LaFonda and they get married. I just have one more, but it's chronologically, I want it to be last. Do you have any other
Okay, yeah. Okay,
evidences?
yeah. All right, dude. This is a perfect movie. It's just so endlessly quotable.
Yeah.
My lips hurt real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, right?
Just the gosh, or just the breath that you quoted
Yeah,
earlier.
I mean, just the like.
Does that count as a quote? I think it does. In this movie, that counts as a quote.
I mean, we do it.
Yeah, we do it. And we know
I
what we're
mean,
doing when we do it. And everyone around us knows what we're doing when we do it. So that is a quote.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Nessie, our underwater ally.
Little
Like,
speech.
I mean, like, that is so random, right?
Uh-huh.
That's
Yes.
like what is happening, or the Liger, but I don't know why. Just Nessie, our underwater ally,
Mm-hmm.
it just cracks me up so bad,
That's pretty
dude.
good. I like any speech given in this. I like Summer's speech
Yep.
about,
Mm-hmm.
well, I never thought I would be here today. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, why is starting your speech that way? You've been running for president for months, uncontested, and still she starts a speech in such a cliche high
Yep.
schooler way to start a speech. I think it is genius. Her whole speech
Yep.
is, and it's a little bit racist at the end, which that girl would do a
Yeah.
100%. It is so Haley Duff, I guess. I don't know. Oh man,
Yeah.
that speech is so incredibly written.
Yep. Super funny.
Yep.
Um, Also just the the like Mormon swearing substitutes, which are the same as
Mhm.
Christian swearing substitutes.
That's
You
exactly
know,
why maybe it played so well in the ministries that I was leading.
100%. It's totally clean. And
Uh-huh.
that goes back to tone that I was saying in the first evidence. But like I heard this thing um that actually language, like swearing and stuff like that, actually went down
Okay.
uh
Wow. What a
in
cultural footprint this movie
yeah,
had.
like because of this.
Wow.
Um I mean, frick, flip,
Yep.
gosh, right?
Flippin', he says that a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
I mean, he does call him an idiot.
He calls him an idiot.
Idiot. I mean, maybe whenever you say idiot, are you thinking of Napoleon?
I don't think so.
When was that from?
Gosh is different than idiot.
Gosh.
But if you were to say how idiot like you just did, I would know
Yeah.
exactly what you were doing it from. That's
Yep.
why the delivery is so important in this movie.
Yeah. It's just so interesting that John Heater is not Napoleon Dynamite.
Uh-huh.
Like he's just not like in that thing I sent you earlier today. Um, John Heater was talking to Jared, and he was like, "Oh crap, I had my wedding ring on in the wide shot."
That hit me for a couple different reasons. One is the what you mentioned before, which is this guy was married when
I know. No.
when he filmed this movie.
Yeah.
Could that be possible? And the other one was he dropped out of his Napoleon voice,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
seemed worried about it.
Yep.
And Napoleon Dynamite, the character is not worried about anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just like goes with anything. And so to see John Heater play like concerned was like, wow, you're right. It's weird that he's not him.
Yep. And so that makes it all the more amazing
Mm.
at how indelible of a character he and Jared created. That
Yep.
is only him. Like if it were Jake Gyllenhaal,
Uh-huh.
makes no sense.
No sense. And
No
you
sense at
would
all.
not have been able to enter the movie like you do with an unknown, right?
100%.
Yep.
Because and then he can get typecast like that. And he's
Uh-huh.
done a bunch of other things. But dude, he honestly, like I listened to this hour-long interview with him. He
Yeah.
just seems like a super nice, fun guy.
Yep.
Like
He
does
does.
not give a rip. He's like,
Yes.
yeah, I got to be Napoleon. I got to be in this other stuff. Super fun. I love my career. It's really fun.
Yeah.
He's got 4 kids and a wife, and they
Okay.
live in like probably like 2 hours away from where I am right now.
Oh, really?
They live in the Pacific Northwest in
Uh-huh.
Oregon. Uh, and he's like, LA just wasn't my vibe.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah, that
quiet
makes sense.
life, cares about his family. I don't know. I think this dude's hilarious and
Yes.
super good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems great. I remember him in a movie with Will Ferrell about ice skating. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. And I have to admit it probably was because I didn't want to see him in anything else.
It's see, that's kind of a bummer.
It's a bummer for him that anything else he would play is a bit off-putting because he's not Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
As if Napoleon Dynamite isn't off-putting, but you know what I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
he's off-putting in an endearing way. It's hard for me to watch John Heater play anything else.
hmm but it's just that it's still surprising to me that he's acting
Yeah,
because it's so perfect. And maybe that's an evidence right there too.
yeah.
Is like he just fits it like a glove, man.
I think
He doesn't.
probably I assumed the first time I watched it that that was how he acted in real life.
Mhm.
Just like
Right.
again, just like Pee-wee, right? Where you're like, "Oh, that just must be him." Right?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, Pee-wee would do interviews and appear publicly as Pee-wee, not as Paul Rubens, but I just figured this must be Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Um
That
so
would have been interesting if he had developed a persona like that.
yeah,
I'm glad that he
definitely.
didn't.
And I'm also glad that there aren't other movies.
Yeah, okay, so he talked about that in that
Okay.
interview because I guess they wanted a Napoleon Dynamite 2.
Of course they did. That
Well, yeah,
with the budget, yeah, with the box office they made, yeah.
right, but they wanted to do it with another writer and or director.
Yeah, right.
And so but they wanted John Heater.
Okay.
And so he
Yeah,
was like I never even like thought of it. Like no,
right.
that's that he said Napoleon is Jared's baby.
Okay. Interesting. Even more than John Heater's
Yeah.
character. He is Jared's character. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. Well, good on him. And
totally.
I'm sure he's making probably bank still from residuals from this movie. And they
Dang.
did have an animated show which I watched and it was okay.
Okay.
6 episodes or something. It was like on after The Simpsons for six
Oh, is
weeks.
that one where he's like, wah?
Oh, maybe.
It was like baby Napoleon. I just remember
Oh,
that they
that
showed
sounds
up baby
familiar.
Napoleon. He just goes like, wah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's like the only part of that I ever saw was just that. But I was wondering if that was in The Simpsons.
Oh, maybe. It could be. It seems like a
Hmm.
Simpsons joke or a Family Guy joke, even.
Yeah.
Like they're
Wah.
always referencing something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we're 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 coming to the end, but can I
Yep.
chunk in? Um, and this has to do with why I think this movie made so much money. And I don't have anything to prove this. It's anecdotal, but I think this movie has the perfect post credits scene.
Mm.
And I think people missed it. I know some people who missed it the first time.
Yeah. You know what though? Okay, I'm pretty sure the first run didn't have it and they added it later.
You're right. Okay, this is sounding familiar to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
because there was another movie they were referencing where they re-released it with an added ending
Okay.
because they had to refilm it later because Napoleon's wearing a wig.
He looks a lot different.
Yep, he's not
Uh-huh.
even barely in it.
But you can tell he looks a lot different. So
Yeah.
this is making sense to me. So I think that people went back to see the end credit scene.
Okay, that's it. So they either re-released it with it or they missed it, but I think that's what they did.
I mean, it is fully after the credits. It's not mid
Oh yeah.
credits scene. It is the whole credits go by, 5 minutes of credits.
Yep.
And it is not a post credits Marvel scene where Iron Man shows up and talks to the Hulk, right? And it's 30 seconds long. It's
Right.
probably what do you think, 5 or 6 minutes?
Yeah. It's a whole wedding scene.
And I think maybe it's the best scene in the movie. And so what you're saying, which is they would add it later, would be a genius marketing strategy. And if that's true, and it sounds true to me, that's amazing. Um, I feel like I saw it in the theater, but I could be misremembering. Um, but I remember hearing the conversation of, "Did you wait for the end credit scene?" And other people saying, "What? No." So that could
What?
be because it didn't exist when they saw it. But then
Dude, I
I think there was
think
a lot of like doubling in the theater, people going to see it again in the theater because of that post credit scene.
mm, okay. So they either missed it or it was a re-release.
Either way, they're going back to see it.
Yep. I heard also that was it Team America came out that fall,
Okay. Yep.
and
Matt
they
Damon.
were estimating that uh, somewhere between $1 and $3 million of their gross for Napoleon Dynamite was kids saying they were going to Napoleon Dynamite, but sneaking into Team America.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like when Krause snuck into
Yeah,
Titanic with his what was it?
flubber,
Flubber
flubber.
ticket.
You think you're going to flubber, but you end up going to Titanic.
Yeah. The that closing scene for me uh, is obviously it's Kip's moment.
Yeah.
That song, whoever wrote that song is a freaking genius.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of feel like, wait a minute, has the score of this entire movie been written by Kip?
Did he score it?
Right?
Because it's kind of like this lo-fi bossa nova vibe
Written on
that's
some Casio.
electronic and
Yeah,
synthesizer.
it's just a Casio keyboard sounds, right?
Yep.
Like a loop on a Casio keyboard with like playing over
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
then it's a true masterpiece of a song at the end there. I
Mm,
still love technology, but
yep.
not as much as you see. But I still love technology is the chorus.
Yep.
And Lofana seems genuinely moved by this song.
I know. Isn't her brother like, oh gosh.
He's got his head in his hands, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Everyone else seems like this is a beautiful wedding.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he comes up on the horse, just like the horse is running so fast.
I thought he was gonna fly off a dude.
Like gifts them this horse, and then Lofana gets on first, and Kip's behind her with his hands around. And that shot of from behind the
Yeah.
horse's butt with tiny Kip sitting on like basically on the butt, and then LaFonda with that giant dress. And then the closing line is lucky. And that's the end. And you're just like,
Yep.
they did it.
What a button, dude.
Yes. Huge.
Perfect.
It just so successful at the end. So I think I'm with you that the middle drags, but it
Hmm.
doesn't drag long because the movie's done in an hour 30 or
Yep.
an hour 25. Then there's 5 minutes of credits and then 5 minute post credit scene where all sins are forgiven.
Yep.
And
Great.
I think they figured it out. And so maybe that was just like, we need a little more. I don't know what the decision was there because you're right. Napoleon obviously has a wig on. He
Yeah.
has cut his hair.
It was filmed much later.
Okay.
I mean, like 6 months later or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Well, whoever made that decision, genius, because it
Mm.
really, really, I think, brings the movie up from great to perfect for me.
Yep. Perfect, dude. I love that.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
I think I'm good, dude. I mean, dude, I just love the Gatorade flip. You know, when he comes out of, we didn't talk about the dance at all, dude.
How could
What
we
the
not?
heck?
So maybe that is where the movie,
Yeah,
I guess maybe that is where the movie really goes up a letter grade is the
yes.
dance.
Because okay, Yes. Okay, so I'm glad I remembered this Gatorade thing.
Because he's practicing dancing when he's drinking that Gatorade with all
Yeah,
his might.
because he says he needs some skills, right? And he's got drawing skills. He's like, I'll call him get some dancing skills.
Yeah.
Gets that tape from LaFonda,
hmm
goes into his room. Oh, and then he gets like a dance tape.
An
At,
instruction dance VHS
yeah.
at the Goodwill, which I
Yep.
recognize that Goodwill for sure.
Yep.
I mean, that's just
So
like
great.
every Goodwill looks like that, where you
Totally.
can get a nunchuck and then a VHS tape of teaching how to dance.
Yep.
Well, that's
Uh,
not a nunchuck that he grabs. What is that? I can't remember. I'm not
bow
up on my
staff.
turtle. It's not a bow staff. It's something else. It's another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weapon, but I can't remember
What
what
is
it's
that?
called.
Like the three-pronged thing
Yeah,
like
three
the
prongs. It's like a
Klingons
little
have?
spear. Yeah, yep.
I forgot what that's called. Dang it.
I'll
Yeah.
look up.
Oh yeah, because he puts it in his belt. But he goes and he practices. So genius. You can see him like off to the side in his room practicing,
The
and
door
then
is
he
open
like,
just a
yeah,
jar, so you can sort of see him just sweating and dancing around in
yeah,
there. Yep.
gets that swig of Gatorade.
Yep.
Genius. And then, I mean, so the dancing scene. I remember when we saw that in the theater, being like, he's really good.
I remember thinking that too. Is it because the bar is set so low on Napoleon that
Yeah,
when you
you're like,
see him do something pretty good, you
yeah.
think, wow, he's the best dancer I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
I mean, seriously, I wish I could do those moves, dude.
For sure. I was thinking last night, I was thinking, is this a dance I could do?
Mm,
Is it just impressive enough that if somebody saw me do it, they would be like,
yeah,
wow, Steven can dance.
yep,
I think maybe I could learn that dance. I don't think I could do it as well as him. And he's so tall and big. That adds
yeah.
to it. And he's got moon boots on.
So perfectly lanky. Those
Uh-huh.
moon boots. I mean, I had those moon boots.
Really?
I I ha-
I
I
must have had moon boots.
I had those. They were either black or gray.
Uh-huh.
Um, Apparently they had only one pair of those, and he wears them for the whole movie. They said if you zoom in on that scene,
Yeah.
they're super duct taped together.
That's funny.
But those are the kind of shoes that smell so bad, dude. You know what I mean? There's
There's
no
nowhere
ventilation in
there's nowhere
there.
for your sweat to go, is what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just horrid. Those must have been nasty, dude.
I'm looking at it. It looks like the weapon is called a Sai, SAI. The
Oh,
Raf I mean, Raphael, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, has two of them. Um, but it's just like a long, it looks like kind of a trident, but it's got
yep.
a short handle, and he puts it in his pants.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, he doesn't do the dance in those or with those in his pants. But what about his sweats he wears?
Great.
Right.
All the outfits are incredible.
Yep. There's a
T-shirts are
stonewashed
amazing.
jean at one point that he's wearing.
Totally great.
T-shirts. Yeah, the t-shirts are great. So the dance, sorry, I distracted us from the dance because I found that weapon. The dance is good. And I mean, I read that he just was doing it, right? Just making it up.
Yep, so that was one of those things where they're running out of film and
Okay.
they're like, you have to do this in a couple takes.
Oh my gosh, no
Like,
pressure.
yeah, we're gonna run out of film. Like there's no more. So yeah,
Because you
that
can
was
tell
yep,
they're cutting, right?
definitely.
It's not one shot.
Right.
They'll either cut to Summer and her
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like at first they think this is really dumb, and then they start looking worried.
Yep.
Um
But this is to the random point. Like, why is he doing this?
he's got to do a skit. Pedro finds out he has to do a skit. How do I defeat the Happy Hands Club?
Yep. So is this also Happy Hands Club got a big laugh. Lily's doing that stuff now. We were like, this is what you're doing now, Lily. We were all laughing. It was so
I
fun.
love Happy Hands Club.
I love Happy Hands too. Is okay. Was this an act of love from Napoleon? Was this his sacrificial act of love for his friend, I'm going to give up any social capital I have and embarrass myself in front of everybody trying to do this skill.
Yes, this is messianic, a messianic move.
Yeah.
Also,
Is that
it
a
gets
reading of it?
it gets Deb back, right? So
Yup.
Deb sees, I don't think Deb is as impressed with his dancing as she is with that he would do that for
Yeah,
Pedro,
for
right?
his friend. Yep.
So I do think that is obviously the climax of the movie.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, Nation, him doing a dance that he's making up on the spot is the pinnacle of this movie. It's the completion of his hero's journey.
He refused the call. He finally went for it. Died for everybody.
That's how I've always felt about that moment, is it's his act of care, right?
Yeah.
For for Pedro. And then the icing on the cake is Deb really is impressed with it. And
Yep.
it wins Pedro the presidency and the whole school erupts in applause.
Yep. It's so amazing.
Like as if it's the end of Bill and Ted and they had just traveled in time or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Wow.
great movie. Nation, we're
So
wondering
fun.
what you think about Napoleon Dynamite. The best way to let us know is Lindsay's going to put up a poll on our Instagram. That's instagram.com/twogomers. And you can vote yay or nay coming up here this Wednesday. Thank you to Webmaster Adam, Jason for our graphics, Davis for our music, Lindsay, our social media maestro. Next movie. Oh, we're into spooky season already.
Mm.
Who are you going to call? Not
Oh,
Napoleon
man.
Dynamite on his phone. You'll get hung up on. Call Dan Aykroyd and Co. We're doing Ghostbusters.
Yes.
And you're playing that, right? I mean, the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra is playing that.
Yeah, dude. Live film with orchestra.
Perfect timing. It's
Perfect.
been a while since we've done a spooky movie. There are spooky parts. There are parts in Ghostbusters that used to really freak me out.
Oh, yeah. Me too. There's two in specific that I can remember
Me too.
vividly.
I can call
Wait,
them up
three or
right
four?
now.
Yep, I know. Owie. Yikesy.
Can't wait. We're gonna do Ghostbusters. All right, bro. Napoleon, I hope you make it up to Locutus of Borg. He would be so confused.
What? That would be great. Oh, dude. Of course, he has to because John Heater said that Star Trek: The Next Generation was one of his favorite shows growing up.
Right.
They
I've
asked
heard, I've
him,
read this too, and it doesn't surprise me either.
yep, if there's one star that you were starstruck meeting, it was Patrick Stewart. So,
This is a little late in the year to do this, but I just thought of a new segment.
okay.
It's called How Likely Is It That Patrick Stewart Has Seen This Movie? How likely is it that Patrick Stewart has seen Napoleon Dynamite, do you think?
Well, I guess he played his dad in a movie.
Oh, he did.
Yep. But
Okay,
they
so that
never,
increases that significantly.
right, they were never in
Percentage.
a room together though.
Oh, okay.
So, but they did meet. So maybe.
Okay, I'm going to put it at 50%.
Okay. That's a good one.
Okay, all right, I'm pretty sure he's
If he wasn't in that
maybe.
movie, I'd put it at like 3%.
Me too. Why in the world would Patrick Stewart sit down
he's
and watch Napoleon Dynamite?
he's just busy studying Shakespeare, dude.
This, yeah, he's just too busy reading the Bard to
Uh-huh.
watch Napoleon Dynamite. I would say it's more likely that he's seen Bill and Ted because of the Shakespearean language in that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Hey,
But something like Napoleon, probably not. But now that you told me that fact, I'd put it at 50%.
all right, that sounds perfect.
Okay. All right. New segment, everybody. We have 4 more months to do it. All right, dude. Great app.
Perfect. Super fun, man.
And happy watching Ghostbusters.
Sweet. Okay, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Save. Great.
Great job. Do you have 20 minutes to talk
Oh yeah.
about this? Oh, sweet. Great.
Totally.
Open new.
Hold on, I just bounced.
Okay.
Oh. Let me whiz real quick, duder.
Okay. Me too.
Oh wait, stop recording. Sorry.
Okay, everybody.